And welcome back to American Agenda. I'm Heather Childers, along with Bob Sellers. You know, some might argue right now that there's not a more polarizing person in the government than the man who said masks weren't necessary. Then he said you might want to wear two of them because they were necessary. Yeah. He also said that COVID-19 came from animals, even as new emails reveal that he admitted it's possible, at least, that the virus, which has now killed almost 600,000 Americans, could have come from a lab in China, from research funded in part by the United States. And that's leading many critics to call for Dr. Anthony Fauci to resign from his highly paid position in the government. Joining us right now, our Democrat strategist Kelly Hyman and former California Congressman or congressional candidate and U.S. Navy veteran Joe Collins. Thank you both for joining us. Joe, I'll start with you. I'm not sure if you can hear me, but Republicans now calling on Dr. Fauci to come back and testify before Congress.
I absolutely think he should. You know, he was on CNN and trying to defend himself on CNN. I don't think that's where he needs to defend himself. He needs to defend himself in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee, and we need to get real answers on why he was responsible almost for single-handedly shutting down the United States economy and putting people through the amount of pain and torment that we've been experiencing for the last year and a half.
Kelly, what do you think?
I definitely think that he should testify. I believe in transparency, and I think that's crucial, and the American people have a right to know. And absolutely, I think it's important for them to put the emails in context so we know exactly when it occurred and what happened.
Yeah, Joe, I want to pull up a couple of these, the responses that have come out from some of the, people on Capitol Hill once the emails were released. And of course, Senator Rand Paul being one of the ones that confronted Dr. Fauci. And he now thinks that Dr. Fauci lied to him and lied before Congress. He said, told you, hashtag fire Fauci. Then he followed up with this saying, can't wait to see the media try to spin the Fauci FOIA emails, which of course, they're examples of the media now doing that very thing. Do you think that Dr. Fauci should be fired, Joe? What do you think should happen to him?
Well, any normal person who lies before Congress will be in jail. I mean, we'll look what happened through the Russia investigation. People who lied to Congress, they were in jail. So Dr. Fauci not only needs to be fired, but he needs to be in jail. He needs to be fined. And he needs to make a public apology to the American people for what he did.
Kelly, what do you think he has done wrong from the information that's out there right now?
I don't believe he's done anything wrong when looking at the emails.
That's why I asked, because I think a lot of people observe saying one thing in his emails, saying another thing to the public, saying one thing to the public one day, saying a different thing to a public another day. I mean, we could show you sound bites in which that happened.
Right. I think we have to put it in context of when we found out in these emails of when they were in January 2020 and what we knew about COVID-19. It wasn't even called COVID-19 in January 2020. That's why I think it's important for him to be transparent and to testify and let the American people know, and the American people can make a determination about the emails of what they think about him.
Well, let's take a look at this. One email sent to Dr. Fauci by the NIAID Principal Deputy Director in regards to gain of function. That's a huge question right now. He says here, the paper that you sent me says the experiments were performed before the gain of function pause, but have since been reviewed and approved by NIH. And you can see there in the background that was dated February 2020. So there were questions as to who was paying for what research that was being done, Joe, from the very beginning. And there are allegations now that Dr. Fauci knew that there was funding from the United States, from taxpayers, that was going specifically to this lab in Wuhan. And perhaps that's one of the reasons he was hesitant to make that connection.
Well, we all knew that money was going there. The Obama administration was sending between $3 to $5 million a year to that lab. We also had military troops guarding that lab. So we all know where the money was coming from. We all know that Dr. Fauci was very intertwined with that lab. He testified before the House Judiciary Committee before. Jim Jordan grilled him. Senator Rand Paul grilled him. And he lied. He lied to the American people over and over and over again. Now that these emails come out, everybody want to try to have Dr. Fauci's back. He want to try to defend himself. But the fact of the matter is, he needs to be in jail.
Kelly, is there anything that if you saw Dr. Fauci did that you would say he needs to resign his position?
I think if he misled the American people and he knew about certain stuff and did disclose it, then absolutely he should.
And you don't think
Resign.
that's been established at this point?
I don't. I believe in transparency, and I believe that he should go before Congress and testify and talk about the emails. But no, not yet. I think it's too soon.
Fair enough.
All right.
That's cognitive dissonance.
Kelly and Joe, thank you both very much for joining us.